It started like any other day at work. The hum of the office filled the air, co-workers chatting about their weekend plans, and the faint clatter of keyboards typing away. It was just a regular Tuesday until it became a day I'd never forget. My husband, Jake, had decided to surprise me during my lunch break. He often did that when he had some free time from his construction job. He said it made him happy to see me in the middle of the day, and I always appreciated the gesture. It was sweet, a reminder of the kind of love we shared. Jake walked into the office, and as always, heads turned. He was tall, fit, and carried himself with a calm confidence. Some of my co-workers had met him before during office parties, but this was the first time he'd visited me at work. I introduced him to a few people near my desk, including Tom, a co-worker I'd never been particularly fond of. Tom had always been a bit of a show-off, the kind of guy who cracked inappropriate jokes and never knew when to stop. While I mostly ignored him, his comments always rubbed me the wrong way. And today, with Jake standing right there, he crossed a line I didn't think anyone would dare to cross. As Jake and I stood chatting, Tom suddenly said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, "Hey, Jake, I've got to say, your wife's body in that dress is what keeps us motivated around here. I bet I could make her enjoy herself in bed more than you ever could." The words hit like a slap to the face. My breath caught, and the room seemed to freeze. People nearby stopped what they were doing, their eyes darting between Jake and Tom, waiting for a reaction. I wanted to sink into the floor out of embarrassment and anger. Jake, however, didn't flinch. He laughed. Not the kind of laugh you'd expect after hearing such an insult, but a deep, almost amused laugh. For a split second, I thought he was going to let it slide. But then, he stepped closer to Tom, his demeanor calm but menacing. "That's a bold thing to say," Jake said, his voice steady but with an edge that sent shivers down my spine. Tom, clearly mistaking Jake's composure for weakness, laughed along, saying, "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking, man." Jake leaned in slightly, his eyes locking onto Tom's. "You're saying a lot for someone who doesn't know when to shut up." And then it happened. In one swift motion, Jake's fist connected with Tom's jaw, the sound echoing through the office. Gasps filled the room as Tom stumbled back, knocking over a chair. Before anyone could react, Tom lunged at Jake, and the two of them were in a full-on brawl. Desks shook, papers flew, and people scrambled to get out of the way. The office was in chaos. Jake was strong, and he held his own, but Tom wasn't backing down either. It was messy, raw, and completely surreal. Security arrived quickly, pulling the two apart. Jake's shirt was torn, and Tom had a bloody lip, but neither of them looked ready to stop. The security guards held them back, and I could see the fire in Jake's eyes. "Don't you ever disrespect my wife again," Jake growled, his voice firm and unwavering. Tom, for once, was silent, glaring, but clearly defeated. The security guards escorted both men out of the office, while my co-workers buzzed with whispers. I followed Jake outside, my heart pounding. Part of me was angry that things had escalated so far, but another part of me couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride. "You didn't have to do that," I said as we stood by his truck. Jake looked at me, his face softening. "No one talks about my wife like that. No one." The sincerity in his voice brought tears to my eyes. Despite the chaos, despite the embarrassment, I felt more loved and protected than ever. Later that day, my boss called me into his office. I was sure I was about to be reprimanded, or worse, fired. But to my surprise, he was understanding. What Tom said was completely unacceptable, he admitted. "He's being written up and suspended. As for your husband, well, I can't condone violence, but I understand why he reacted the way he did." The next day, the office was abuzz with the aftermath of the fight. Some people praised Jake for standing up for me, while others criticized the violence. Tom returned a week later, but he avoided me like the plague. He never dared to make another comment, not to me or anyone else. As for Jake and me, that incident became one of those stories we told at dinner parties, a testament to his love and his unwavering commitment to protect me, no matter the cost. It wasn't the kind of day I ever wanted to repeat, but it was a day that reminded me just how lucky I was to have a husband who would go to such lengths to stand up for me.